We have to create a new game. The existing game is going to destroy everything. So delicious.
It's food with
Our
love.
mouth is watering. The system is not broken. It's doing what it was designed to do.
A escola da Ponte está aqui. Primeiro.
Garlic.
É um outro material que elas estão reciclando.
Jarvis me chamou. Temos visita.
Jadu Kichapi for your partner. What happened to all the Brazilian kisses? Namaste, oi. I was born in India, in Rajasthan. It's a very magical place. We have palaces and kings and queens and fantastic stories, lots of indigenous groups. But when I was 3 years old, I was kidnapped and taken to the United States by my parents. It was very traumatic for me because I was put in a place all of a sudden where whatever language I was speaking, nobody knew that language, nobody knew about my culture. So it was a very traumatic experience for me. I was the kind of student who would never study for the exams, never did any homework, but I would go to class and somehow I would do very well. What I was able to do is I was able to spend a lot of time doing activities out of school. So I started my first business when I was 8 years old. I did a lot of community service activities, volunteering, interacting with different slum areas, different communities. Was very involved in organizing a lot of sports and things with my friends, a lot of games. And I found that I was learning a lot of things doing all of those things. They were very powerful experiences for me outside of the class. But I was all the time scolded by my parents and by my teachers saying, oh, those are all extracurricular activities. And I found that those were the real learning that was happening for me. And that wasn't what was going on in the school was extra. In the classroom was the extracurricular part. The real part was learning with life. So since I was a child, I started all the time because my mother is a doctor and my father is an engineer. And they were all the time study, study, study. And every time they would try to catch me and said, oh, study more, you'll be the best, I would run away, like Sashi Parer, escape. The other thing that happened a lot when I was growing up, I felt that I experienced a lot of racism in my school. And a lot of it was indirect, but and it made me feel like a lot of shame towards my language, towards my culture. If my mother were to come to the school in a sari, you know, the Indian saris, I would just like go and hide because I would be so ashamed of that. Some of it was direct. I remember a very horrible experience where I was in the sports gym and some white guy came and he peed in my shoes. So that was very, I was just like, what is wrong with these people? It was very, very painful experience for me. But when I was a child, I always had this very strong desire to serve humanity, to do something very good for the world. So when I was finishing college, I asked all my friends, what should I do? I want to do something. And everyone said, you should make a lot of money first. So I ended up on Wall Street as an investment banker. And in Wall Street, there's this idea of trickle-down economics. It means help rich people get richer, and slowly, it'll come down to everybody. So I thought there's no trickle-down happening. It's all gushing up. It's all flowing upwards. And I started to see the whole system is designed to do that. So that's why today you have, it's not an accident that we have 300, billionaires who have half the world's resources in their hands. And the biggest tool that they use for stealing from people, stealing from communities, is the money system. The money system is designed to take wealth out of the communities, out of people's hands, and put them in the hands of big corporations and elite people. The other thing which I observed when I was on Wall Street was I was like 22 years old, and I had everything. I had a crazy life. Did you see Wolf of Wall Street? So I was a baby wolf. So Armani suits, 5-star hotel. You can just see me as a 22-year-old kid. Supermodels, big parties, Ferraris driving around. And after 1 year, I started asking, is this it? Is this the purpose of life? This has to be something more. And I started noticing that those who were, the winners, the successful people, I started noticing they're the most unhappy. So I really started questioning, what do we mean by happiness? What is this idea of happiness? What do we mean by success? These questions started to come to me when I was like 23 years old. So I decided to leave Wall Street because that something more has to be. My purpose has to be more than making rich people richer. So then I asked my friends, where should I go? Where should I go? I want to serve. So they said, become an academic. So I ended up at Harvard. So I was there and got enrolled in the PhD program. But after 1 year, I started feeling that my illiterate village grandmother was much more intelligent than my Harvard professors. And she taught me the difference between knowing and being. Right? It's something very important for us. Knowing means, you know a lot of information, you can do good PowerPoints, you can quote this author, this thinker said this thinker thing. But being is, how are you living? Are you living authentically? Are you connected to are you in alignment? Are you connected to your deepest purpose? I started questioning all of this, like, what is this education about? Why am I here trying to be an academic? And I felt that there's more, the problems we are facing in the world, I didn't think that just writing about them would be enough. So I left Harvard after 1 year. So I asked my friends again, where should I go? What should I do? What should I do? So they said, you want to do something good for the world? Join the United Nations. So I worked for UNICEF, UNDP, UNESCO, the World Bank, USAID, and many international NGOs. And I really started thinking about, the problems that are happening in the world. And I was working on a team in UNESCO called Learning Without Frontiers. So our mission was to, this was in 1997. What should education look like for the 21st century? This is what we were a special team that was assembled to look at this question. And every person I met, like amazing people, thinkers, visionaries, practitioners around the world. And all of them, researchers even, all of them said the school, what I call the factory school, is the worst thing for humanity. It's the worst design if we understand human learning, if we understand brain, if we understand creativity. The school is the worst thing. And the school is actually designed not to liberate us, but to control us, to convert us into economic slaves. There was a person, Ivan Illich, he wrote a very famous book, Deschooling Society, in 1971. And he uses this word, homo economicus. So school is designed to convert us from homo sapiens to homo economicus, economic slaves. When I was in UNESCO, I had a whole, I was at that time like 28 years old. My whole career was set. My parents were so happy. Okay, this guy's finally settling down. And what did I do? I resigned. Because I felt that it wasn't enough again to make policy papers and laws, and I was training a lot of people in ministries of education with new ideas on education, and I realized that those people don't want to change the system. They're all very comfortable with the business that's going on, the business of education. And many people, I shared what I'm sharing with you, the education system is designed to dumb us down, to make us more stupid. I shared with many friends, I said, yeah, but what's your solution? So I decided to leave UNESCO and to move back to India to start to create my own solutions. This was 20 years ago. At that time also, I met my wife, and she gave me a lot of courage to resign. And we had an arranged marriage. So I only met her 4 times, 4 dates in 1 week. And then I said, oh, should I get married? And then I asked the universe and it said, yes, jump in. But before I got agreed, we made one condition. And the condition I had was, if I have children, when we have children, I will never send them to school. So I thought she'll get freaked out and run away. But she said, okay. So I said, all right, let's get married then. Another crazy person. And all of our parents were happy because they're like, these 2 crazy people are good. Otherwise, they would have ruined somebody else's life if they marry somebody else. The one other thing I want to share about UNESCO, the experts. I started questioning experts. So I was called an expert also. And one thing I saw that was happening is that these experts they'd spend 1 week in a country, and they'd write a report, this is the solution. And half the time the report wouldn't get implemented even, or most of the time. And the other half, I started looking at their reports. I was working on one project, and they had gone to, the country was in Ethiopia, and the expert submitted the report, and it said, oh, this is what the country of Zimbabwe should do. So a lot of the experts were just cutting and pasting solutions, cutting and pasting here. So, and then I started spending time with them, and I noticed after you give them 2 drinks, you need to give them 2 kashashas. Just 2. And they just say, oh, we have all of these, we can analyze what the problem is, but we have no idea, no clue what to really do about it. So I said, why are we all waiting for the experts to tell us that? If they don't know, then we need to go and be with the people, generate the solutions from communities, from the grassroots up. So that's why I left and I moved back to India. And we started an institute and a movement called Shikshantar. And we just started inviting people, let's come and reimagine education together. There's a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Have you heard this? It's an African saying. Because I lost my village, because I was in the US and being in cities and things, I didn't have any village. So I said, now it's going to take our children to help us raise villages again, to build communities. Our children will help us do that. Because we need these relationships, we need community. The system all the time makes us feel alone and isolated. In the US, people have to pay to get kafune, they have to pay money to get hugs. I mean, it's really crazy that this is where the system takes you, that you have to pay for these things. And people are so desperate to get it because they can't, they're not experiencing it in their lives. So with my daughter, I'll just say a couple of things what we decided to do. So one thing which we believe a lot in is the power of play. So people ask me, what is your daughter? She's 16 years old today. She's never been to school except for a few times we took her to see the school. Like we take the children to see the zoo, caged animals in the zoo. We took her to look at these caged children in the zoo. They can't even, but it's worse than a zoo, because at least in the zoo, the animal can pee freely, poop go to the bathroom without permission, drink water without permission. But in the school, you need permission even to drink a glass of water or to go use the toilet. So she saw this and she's like, okay, I don't want to go to this place. So when people ask me, what did your daughter do all 16 years? I said, she's just played. And that was remembering my childhood when I was doing all those extracurricular things. I was just playing. And there's a tremendous amount of power. And people are really afraid of play. Parents are afraid. Teachers are afraid. The second thing people said, what does she do? I said, she does nothing. And my mother freaks out all the time. She's like, she does nothing. What is she doing? But in doing nothing, lots of things are happening. When we slow down, when we give space for silence, when we open up our time, there's a lot of things. We surrender to life. Lots of things start happening. The third thing about what she does is, I said, very simple formula. If you grow up with crazy, passionate people, you become crazy and passionate about life. So I said, can we just keep inviting crazy, passionate people to interact? And unfortunately, the situation is that most of the people in schools, most of the teachers, should have never become teachers. What did they do? They passed an exam and they became teacher. But to become a teacher, you have to have very different quality. You have to be loving life. You have to be always wanting to learn. So most of us can probably name one or two maximum teachers that we really remember, who really touched our hearts. The rest were all just doing a job. I took Latin when I was in school. And everyone's like, no, you should study Spanish or French. But I took Latin. And the reason was because the teacher, he would come every day in a very pressed white shirt. And in 15 minutes, he was like, about Latin. So I couldn't understand. I was like, this is such a boring subject. Why is this guy so excited, passionate about it? So I was enjoying feeling his passion. That's the only reason I took this subject. And I said, so if I can surround my daughter with passionate people, it'll be an amazing thing. She'll learn that life is not a boring, routine, monotonous, thing. Life is really something amazing and special. We've been given a great gift. The fourth thing, which for my daughter, was that I believe a lot in child labor. What do you guys think? Child labor? Child labor, not in the kind of way that you exploit and manipulate and hurt people, but child labor is when you let the children do very meaningful things in the world. Work on projects they care about. Work on campaigns. Work with different kinds of people. So my daughter, since she was 6 years old, she's worked in an animal shelter. She's worked in the vegetable market. She's worked in favelas. She's worked in art galleries. She's worked in cafes and restaurants. She's been part of a band. So many, many things she's gotten to experience of real life. And I think that again is, real life is the real teacher. That's what I started feeling. So a few years ago, some of my friends, they said, okay, this usually the word is called unschooling. So the idea of unschooling is free learning for the children. So we have no curriculum, no textbooks, no plans. I asked my daughter every day, what would you like to work on? What's happening around in our community? What's exciting for you? What problems do you see? Let's work on some of those together. But the other thing about unschooling is it's for the parents. The biggest thing is the parents because of our conditioning. One thing which I had to learn a lot was this idea of comparison. Oh, this child is doing that. Oh, my daughter's only doing that. Or, oh, my daughter's so great and that child's nothing. So this idea of comparing children all the time is something we have to let go of, I've learned. We really have to see each beautiful soul has come with its own purpose, its own mission. So some people said, okay, this unschooling is a very good thing, but it's only for elite people. Right? It's only for people who can speak very good English. So I started thinking, and I developed a model. I said, how can we gift the power of unschooling to children in favelas? We call them busties. In India, favela is called busties. So in busties. So I want to share with you a little video, 3-minute video of one model, which you can see, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's called the Creativity Adda. Creativity, you know, Adda means a place to hang out. It's actually, literally, it means a place for gangsters to hang out. But we reappropriated the word. We took the word back. So please, can you play that video, Creativity Adda?
मुखर्जी नगर का स्कूल ये बेहद इसकी एक नेगेटिव छवि बन गई थी, ये एक बदनाम स्कूल बन गया था। इसकी तमाम शिकायतें जगह जगह होती थीं, कोई अनुशासन नहीं है, कोई मर्यादा नहीं है, पत्थर फेंकते हैं, इस तरह की सैकड़ों शिकायतें हमने सुनी हैं।
आपको सीखना है, आपसे कोई डांट प्रकार नहीं, सब भाई की तरह रहते हैं, भाई बहनों की तरह प्यार करते हैं, सब सिखाते हैं एक दूसरे को।
बच्चा हर रोज 3 से 4 घंटे वो फ्री है ये सोचने के लिए, करने के लिए कि उसे क्या सीखना है, क्यों सीखना है, कब सीखना है और कैसे सीखना है। तो यहाँ कोई करिकुलम नहीं है जिसके अंदर बच्चा बंधा हुआ है।
जब मैं डांस करता था तो वो यही बोलते थे कि पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दो, ये डांसिंग मत करो। पर जब से मैंने क्रिएटिविटी अड्डा में बहुत सारे शोज़ करे हैं, अपने फैमिली को लेके आया, तो उन्हें लगा कि हाँ डांसिंग में कुछ कैरियर बन सकता है।
कोई ड्रीम्स नहीं थे, ज़्यादा थे बट ऐसा नहीं था कि हाँ इन्हीं पे कुछ काम करना है। अब अड्डा है तो ड्रीम्स ही बढ़ गए मेरे कि अब कुछ बड़ा करना है, और करना है तो रुकना नहीं है बिल्कुल भी।
वही छात्र जो कभी उद्दंड कहे जाते थे, कभी बहुत शरारती कहे जाते थे, वो अनूठे काम कर रहे हैं। कोई प्रोफेशनल फोटोग्राफी कर रहा है, कोई फिल्म मेकिंग कर रहा है, कोई स्केटिंग का उस्ताद बन गया है, कोई एक बिल्कुल इतनी अच्छी कुकिंग सीख गया है कि वो प्रोफेशनल दर्जे की कुकिंग करता है। तो ये जो हुनर, अपनी प्रतिभा को पहचानना, अपनी प्रतिभा को निखारने का जब काम शुरू हुआ तो सब कुछ बदला है, सब कुछ बहुत एक सुंदर परिवेश में बदल गया।
This runs every day, this Creativity Adda runs every day for 4 hours a day in the afternoons. But it's not a after-school program. We call it an unschool because we're trying to undo the damage that school does to kids. Destroyed their self-confidence, destroyed their sense of freedom, their self-initiative, their intrinsic motivation. right? Schools teach us all the time, reward and punishment. Do something because either you'll get some reward for it or do something because you're going to get punished for it. But the inner motivation, inner discipline, inner call is all neglected. So we wanted to create a space for that to be happening. Schools tell you competition is the way you have to interact. We say no, collaboration, working together. Cheating, we're very pro-cheating. What do you guys think? Cheating is good? Right?
Yes.
Cheating is good. So I made a film also, another film on the art of cheating. You know, there's this guy, Ken Robinson, many of you know, TED Talk. So he said schools kill creativity. So I said, yes, I agree, except for one example. And that is when children are cheating, preparing for the exams, and they cheat. Find all kinds of amazing ways to cheat. So this is what can really, so we encourage cheating. Collaborate, share your knowledge. If you saw the end of the film, copy left, not copyright. Right? It's very important in this movement. And I've been challenging many of my friends who have been working in government schools and favelas, and they create, 1 hour once a week program, or they create, a few days a month kind of program for kids. And I said, this is bullshit. We're cheating those kids. They deserve to have 4 or 5 hours a day to work on the things they love. Just giving them 1 or 2 hours here or there is just you're playing a very cruel joke on them. So it's a challenge for all the people that we need to create a different system. And I saw in 6 months, they said at the end of the film that kids have become photographers, professional photographers. They can earn money through that. They become chefs. They're earning something. So it's another thing. I think if we look in India, that we have the same problem, gangs and drugs and all of these things. So we have to show that there's a different way. And so we have kids who are in, class 10 who are doing professional photography now. They're going for in their communities, they're doing photography. Kids who are cooking, so the kids have started a repair cafe, so they get all the things from their community, electronics, speakers, washing machines, mobile phones, and they're repairing that in their community and giving it back. And these are all class 6 to 12 kids doing this. And they found a way forward, a purpose, their gifts, their talents they're starting to understand. Let me share something else. So about 10 years ago, my mother was getting really nervous. She's my biggest critic and my biggest supporter. So she was getting really, she's like, your daughter's not going to school. And remember, she was always like, study, study, study. So she's freaking out. Your daughter's not going to school. She doesn't have any textbooks. She's not doing this. How is she going to go to university? So I thought, and she's really trying to pressure, send her to school now. She's 6 years old. You have to send her to school. So I thought, and I said, yeah, this is good. Yeah, she should have the choice. So you know what I did? I said, I'll start my own university. So 10 years ago, I started a university called Swaraj University. It's a self-designed learning university. So we say that there's no subjects, biology, chemistry. There's dreams. So we ask people, you don't need any degree, you don't need any certificate to join, but whatever your dream is, bring a dream that you want to work on for your community. Something you actually would like to create in the world, offer something beautiful you want to offer the world. Come and we'll help you start learning and creating those dreams into reality. Because I got tired of a world where everybody says, oh, I have a dream, but I'll do it after I retire. So many of my relatives used to say, okay, yeah, do it after you retire, all these things. Why are you quitting your job now? Why are you doing all this now? I said, no, I want to do the dream today, and we need to do it today for the well-being of the planet. So people told me when I was starting the university, you need to have at least $10 million to make a university. They said this is a very low estimate because Harvard has $4 billion endowment. So 10 million minimum you need, and to make a good, world-class university. Because my mother wasn't going to be happy with just some little thing, so I had to make a world-class university. So I said, I don't have $10 million. I only have 10 reais. So how can I make a university? So I said we have to do it in what I call the gift culture. So we made a whole university in this from gift culture. So I started talking to different friends, and I met one guy, and he said, "Oh, I have a land here, 30 acres. It's empty. You can use it for your university." I said, "I don't want to own it. I just need to use it. Whenever we have a program for the university, can I use it?" He said, "Yeah, you can use it." Then I started talking to people, where do I get faculty from? So today I have more than 1,000 faculty, all in the gift culture. I said, "Would you like to be part of our university? Can our learners come and meet you? Can they come and work with you? Can they come and learn with you?" And what I used to tell them, I was like, "Look, you're so dedicated. These are leading top thinker doers in the world." I said, "You're doing something amazing, and you've dedicated your life to it. But when you pass away, who's going to take it forward? You have people." And most of the time they're like, "No, nobody's with me. No young people." So I'm like, "I can give you young people." So they're like, "Oh, really? Okay." So I said, "You give your time and let them come and learn with you." So I have more than 1,000 people, and they are all kinds of amazing. None of them have PhDs. They're actually doing real things in the world. PhDs are just writing. They're not doing anything real to solve the problems in the world. So we have like grandmothers in our university, indigenous people in our university. We have potters, artisans, fishermen in our university as faculty. We have sustainability people working on sustainability. We have people working on artists and filmmakers as our faculty. So all kinds of different people in our university. I forgot to mention, when I went back to India, one of my things I knew I had to do was unlearn most of what I learned at Harvard and in the West. Because I saw their systems, their solutions are not making them happy even. You know Bhutan? Everyone knows Bhutan? So Bhutan kind of did us all a big favor. They blew the bubble. They burst the bubble on the American dream. They said, "Oh, you guys have all this money and all this technology and all this military, but you guys aren't happy, so what's the point?" So I thought I had to unlearn those models to start to reimagine. So the person I went to was my village grandmother. And she helped me unwind, unravel many different things. And she helped me see what kind of unlearning. So I can just tell you a little story. So one day she was having very dry skin, eczema. And I said, "Oh, I'll take you to the doctor, and she'll give you some lotion, and it'll take a few weeks, and you'll be okay." And she said, no, I want you to go to near my house. Is just next, like 1 minute away, is a favela. So she said, "You go there and get me some goat shit." Goat shit. So I was like looking at her like she's crazy. And as that time, I'm like, I'm a Harvard guy, I'm UN, I can't go and pick up goat shit from here or there. So then she said to me, "If you love me, you get the goat shit for me." So I said, "Okay, I'll go." And then I was like trying to hide in front of the neighbors, going secret, and I bring it back, and she takes it and boils it in oil, and she put it on her skin. And I was like, "Oh, this is so gross, disgusting." And the next day I look at, and the whole thing is cured. And I was like, wow, something is amazing here. Some knowledge that I never thought of. I never thought of looking at shit as a solution. And then I started researching this, asking people, and I found out cow shit and horse shit and squirrel shit. And people know all kinds of amazing things, and they make different kind of herbal things. You know why the cow is very famous in India? You all know that? Why? So people used to think it's because of the milk and the ghee and the butter and all of these things. And no, that's not it. The cow is famous for cow shit and cow urine. In the Ayurveda traditions, these are very, very sacred and powerful healing things. So we even make a soap out of the cow shit. And so this, I call it the unlearning soap, because you can never think of soap out of shit. But it shows you the power. If we start looking at our shit, there's a lot of new things we can, new ideas we'll get. And we even make a toothpaste, tooth powder out of cow shit. Can you imagine? If you can't imagine, you're still colonized. So anyway, so my grandmother taught me a lot about unlearning. She taught me a lot about the gift culture, and particularly hospitality, care, compassion. What can we create when we start to share our gifts with each other, and outside of the frame of the money system? Because the money only teaches you transaction, business. And the gift is something more powerful. When it starts moving, when we start sharing our gifts and our stories together, we start to build community. We start to know that we're there to support each other. And the third thing she taught me was jugaad. Jugaad is gambiaha, improvisation. We have it in India. So I've been having a friendly, discussion. Is the Indian jugaad stronger or the Brazilian gambia stronger? So, but it's the way. So I wanted to make I had to make the whole university with gift culture and with jugaad, with gambiaha. So I can show you a little video if you want to see a little bit about the university. And I have to tell you one thing. When we set up the university, I wanted to make sure it's 100% illegal. We didn't want to wait for permission from the government. We said these guys will never understand this kind of concept. So we started, and said we'll start. If people start coming, the university is on. So it's still 100% legal. We don't want to be under anybody's control. We want it to be controlled by the learners, by the people who are in communities. It's our university. It's a people's university. This is a little bit old. It was made by one of the learners in the university. This very, very sweet, powerful girl named Rama.
आजकल जिंदगी मुझसे है कह रही।
स्वराज के वैसे तो कई अर्थ है, पर एक जिससे मैं बहुत प्रभावित हुई वह अपने मन का राज। इसी नाम की एक यूनिवर्सिटी है जिसपे मैंने इसी वर्ष जुलाई माह में दाखिला लिया। यह विश्वविद्यालय एक जगह स्थित नहीं है, देखा जाए तो यह पूरे भारत में फैला हुआ है। यहाँ पर जो लोग हैं उनकी कोई उम्र की सीमा नहीं है। कोई आपको 16 साल का भी दिखेगा तो कोई 30 साल का भी। हाँ, यहाँ स्टूडेंट को स्टूडेंट कहकर नहीं पुकारते हैं। यहाँ हम सबको खोजी कहा जाता है। खोजी का मतलब अपने बारे में खोज करना और भी कई चीज़ों के अच्छे से खोज करना।
मैं स्वराज में एक खोजी हूँ और स्वराज यूनिवर्सिटी एक ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पर मुझे जो कुछ भी सीखना है, कैसे सीखना है, कब सीखना है, किससे सीखना है, ये मैं खुद तय कर सकती हूँ। मेरे को मेरी शिक्षण प्रक्रिया कैसी होगी ये खुद डिसाइड कर सकती हूँ और मुझे पूरी आज़ादी है। और यहाँ पर मैं सिर्फ डिग्री मिलने के लिए नहीं दौड़ रही हूँ, पर मेरा जीवन कैसे जीना चाहती हूँ और कौन सा या किस प्रकार की व्यक्ति बनना चाहती हूँ, इसके लिए कोशिश करी हूँ। इस मोड़ पर जा रही हूँ।
जिंदगी ने दस्तक दी तो दिल की सब खिड़कियाँ।
मैंने स्वराज यूनिवर्सिटी शुरू करने का निर्णय लिया बिकॉज मैं खुद के शिक्षण से बहुत नाराज थी, फ्रस्ट्रेटेड थी। मैं 12वीं कक्षा में सब विषय में फेल हुई थी और तब से मैं सोचने लगी कि सीखने की प्रक्रिया के लिए खाली स्कूल या कॉलेज में ही जाना जरूरी नहीं है, मैं खुद कैसे सीख सकती हूँ। दूसरा, मुझे लगा कि मैं जैसे 12वीं कक्षा में फेल हुई और तब मुझे जानते हुए 2 लोग ने सुसाइड किया, तो तब बहुत बुरा लगता था कि इनका कुछ फॉल्ट नहीं है, फिर भी वो सोचते कि उनके जीवन में उनको कुछ भी करना है, उसके लिए उनको कुछ होप भी नहीं दिख रहा है। तो ये सब सोच के मुझे लगा कि एक प्लेटफॉर्म क्यों ना शुरू किया जाए जहाँ पे बच्चे जिनको अंदर से कितनी सारी कला है, सबके पास है, तो ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके वो खुद की कला को बाहर लाए, खुद की रुचि से जो काम करना है वो करे और जीवन में आगे बढ़े। तो
पी सुपर फॉग, इसका नाम ही उसी वक्त निकला। तो वो रिजल्ट वो उससे क्या हुआ, एक रात में 5000 लोग जो अस्थमा के मरीज थे मर, एक रात 5000 वहाँ बैन लगाया, अल्टरनेटिव्स ढूंढे, गैस के, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के, न्यूक्लियर पावर के। उसके बाद फिर
मैं प्रकृति के साथ जुड़ा रहना चाहता हूँ और मुझे कम पैसे में जीवन जीना है, यही मेरा अच्छा सपना है।
तो पहले 2 महीने पहले मुझे खाने में भी काफ़ी इंटरेस्ट आया और मैं चाहता हूँ खाना और गाना के साथ एक साथ कुछ करूँ ज़िंदगी में।
मेरा सपना ये है कि मैं एक ऐसा ज़िंदगी जीऊँ जिसमें पर्यावरण को डैमेज नहीं हो और पर्यावरण को पॉजिटिवली कैसे एनकरेज कर सकते हैं और क्या ग्रोथ हो सकता है वो है। फिर सब अपने पर्सनल लाइफ में सबसे सस्टेनेबल कैसे हो सकता हूँ, जैसे अपने खाना उगाना, फिर अपने खेत से जो आता है उस पे ही डिपेंडेंट होना और पूरे जो सिस्टम है उस पे उतना डिपेंडेंट कैसे ना बन सकता हूँ।
मेरा सपना बहुत बड़ा है, तो ये मेरा आयुर्वेदिक का रेस्टोरेंट खोलना है ऑर्गेनिक पे, उसके साथ खेती करनी है।
यहाँ पर डिग्री नहीं दी जाती है, यहाँ पर कोई फिक्स्ड करिकुलम नहीं है। यहाँ पर खोजी अपने गुरु के पास जाकर रहते हैं, उनसे सीखते हैं, घर बार में हाथ बटाते हैं, खाने में हाथ बटाते हैं। यहाँ पे शिक्षा खरीदी नहीं जाती है।
So you can see I'm not just talking random theories or ideas like I used to when I was in UNESCO. Real practical work we've been doing for the last 20 years. We created, as part of the university, we created a campaign called Healing Ourselves from the Diploma Disease. And the reason is because most of the people, majority people, 99% of people in India don't have degrees, professional degrees, like bachelor's or master's. And I think it would be a huge amount of people in Brazil also who don't have degrees. But our people have a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, a lot of creativity, a lot of love. So the university system, the professional system doesn't allow that to express itself. It keeps it controlled. And it kind of creates a social control that those without, if you don't have a degree, nobody wants to listen to your thoughts. It's silenced. The education system, the degree system has been used to silence our people. The people in the favelas, the Colombos, the indigenous people, the people living in so many places, the kids from even good schools who failed school, they're all being silenced. Their opinions, their ideas, their dreams don't matter. So in the campaign, what we did is, I went around and I started talking to people, different companies, different NGOs, different social movements. I said, hey, can you hire, if our people are coming out of my university, don't have any degrees, can you give them a chance? Can you hire them for 3 months? And today I have more than 900 companies and NGOs who are willing to hire people without any degree. And that number is growing more and more. So the idea is that we build I don't want to fix this existing, it's not fixable. We have to build a new system, right? And I tell the kids, why do you even want to go and work for these companies? You create your own things. We don't want to create, the university creates job beggars. People begging all the time, give me a job, give me a job. We want to support people who can become job creators. The university makes what I call deadlyhoods. It teaches you to work in a deadlyhood. Your professions, most of the professions that we learn are destroying the planet. So what I want to talk about is a livelihoods. What's the kind of work, what's the kind of careers that we need to do, which will help to regenerate our spirits first, and regenerate our communities again, regenerate our ecosystems. This is the work we should be looking at, not how to destroy. So we are encouraging a lot of our Kojis, our learners, seekers, they start their own projects. And we encourage them, let us celebrate mistakes. Make as many mistakes. You know, what does school do to you when you make a mistake? It punishes you. But mistakes, failures, these are what we actually learn and grow from. I hope when you are sharing experience out of school, maybe some people said, oh, I made this failure, but I learned so much from that. So we want to celebrate those things and do as much as we can, because that's how deep learning happens. We thought a lot before we used the word university, because it's illegal in India to use the word university without the permission. But we said we want to, let us use the word university as a political act, as a very important statement that our knowledge, our experiences, they matter, right? And that everybody and anybody can access higher education and is experiencing it all the time. We're learning this. The child is actually teaching you how to become a mother. Right? So she's your guru. But the university doesn't recognize that child as a guru. So we're saying that it's a political act, and it's time for us to start to reclaim our own knowledge, to say that our knowledge matters, that the university knowledge is like a dinosaur now. It has nothing really that can solve the problems we're facing. So it's the knowledge of people, of communities, of wisdom, the creativity and wisdom of our grandmothers, of our elders, of our ancestors, that can help us find a different way forward. But it's important we name it. And so the first thing, we're encouraging people to start your own universities as a political act. And all you need to do is get 5 friends together and name it. Say, we have our own university. And then you can start to do, the second thing is, we have something called treasure hunt. Start to look around in your communities. We hear all the time, oh, your community is poor. I grew up hearing this all the time. India is poor, it's violent, it's backwards, it does underdeveloped. No, there's a lot of richness all around us when we open up. So then the game is, there's a treasure hunt. Find at least 10 really amazing creative people in your neighborhood. Somebody who knows stitching, somebody who's really great at cooking, somebody who's really great at, who knows many languages, somebody who's really loving and caring. And these can start to become your faculty for your university. The third thing is find at least 5 friends, 5 well-known people, well-respected people. Like, could be a journalist, it could be an NGO person, it could be somebody in government, somebody scientist, and say, hey, we're starting our own university. Are you willing to say this is a real university? So get 5 friends, 5 people who are well known, and say, hey, this is our university, this is our faculty, and can you say this is real? Because if we start all saying that it's real, we start believing it's real, it's going to become real. And it's very interesting, like the people, for like first 10 years of our movement, we didn't use the word university, but I started using this, we created this university. Then the people in the university, before they used to think, oh, these people are very nice, cute people, very like there was a hierarchy. But as soon as we start saying we have our own university, those people in the university said, oh, what kind of university is yours? Do you have a university? You're the rector of the university. Oh, okay. And there's a different dialogue space that opens up. So let me get back to my mother. Remember my mother? 3 years ago, she said, this is okay. a lot of people know your university, but it's no good for my granddaughter. I said, what do you mean? So nice, everyone loves it. She's like, no, she's been seeing this for the last 10 years. She grew up in it, she knows everybody. It's not interesting for her anymore. So then I thought what to do. And she was like trying to pressure me, send her to school, get her a degree, you know. So I thought about it and I said, okay, I'm going to make an alliance. We call it the Ecoversities Alliance. 100 radical universities, people's universities, and around the world. So today we have more than 100, and they're in 40 different countries. So I told my mother, I said, look, now she has 100 to choose from, and she can go to any country she likes to learn there. So the Ecoversities Alliance, we launched it 3 years ago. Just in Brazil, 3 days ago, we launched the website. So you can check the website out, ecoversities.org. And it's an alliance of people's universities. So people from we have forest universities, we have desert universities, we have favela universities, we have Colombo University is going to come up in Brazil. We have people who are doing transition towns, eco-villages, making their own universities now. We have people who have organic farms. I just started last month, a month and a half ago in India. I'm creating now in my city, Jail University. A radical university for people to find their way, their deeper purpose, their mission. So at the end of the day, our university is what we want. We have to create a space for the most radical questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of this life? Right? How are we all connected? Right? And we have to learn the practical ways to do things, not just theories. So Gandhi talked about, if we want to reimagine education, we have to think of 4 things. The head, the heart, the hands, and the home. 2 things we have to unlearn. So unlearning is, in one sense, it's about unlocking. So one thing is our dependence on the money system. So if we're reimagining education, we have to reimagine economy also. So we talk a lot about localization. How do we regenerate our local economy? Gandhi talked a lot about it, self-reliance locally. How do we rebuild that? The second thing is to reimagine our idea of power. Because we think that power is in the government, power is in the big technology, power is in the big armies. But I can tell you, after meeting so many of these big leaders, they're all afraid. And I meet so many CEOs, so many heads of governments, and I said, why don't you do something about climate change? They said, it's not in our hands, we don't have any power. So it's so shocking. The biggest guys, they're all like so powerless. And then I look at my grandmother, and I say, oh, there's the power. She has the real power. You know? And then we have to understand the feminine energies. The last several years of my life, I've been trying to reclaim my feminine power, because being in Harvard, it's hyper-masculine, hyper-machismo. Wall Street particularly, crazy. So finding the feminine. And in India, we say in each of us is masculine and feminine energy. Right? It's not like Western gender, this is feminine is only in women and masculine. No, we have it all within us. Building relationships. This room, I'm so grateful to be here, but this room is designed to destroy relationships. Yeah. Right? Because we all become atoms, isolated people, looking forward. We don't look to our left and our right or behind us and say, hey, namaste oi. And when we start to open up that, then we find a different power that we can start to move out of the traps. I mean, what's so interesting, this is such an exciting time we're living in. Because we can see the traps now. How many times are they going to start pulling the same traps? No, we can start to see that. Paulo Freire talked a lot about hope, radical hope, right? But I like to talk along with that about radical disillusionment. I left all of the Western things because I was so disillusioned. As in despair. There's a radical power to despair. There's a radical power of being depressed. There's a radical energy there. We have to unleash that. So it's a very exciting time because it's there. I've been traveling around, it's there. And just a little bit of unlocking, and so much beautiful things are going to come out. I think one of the things we have to let go of, our solutions have to be very big. No, small solutions. But what's critical, one of my friends, she says, very beautiful, we don't need critical mass. We don't need big things. We need critical connections. So part of what I've been trying to do, my humble offering to Brazil, is to connect so many of you. Like, there's amazing guys all over here. We can learn this. Again, the system, how did, in India, the British came. How did they, you know how many people, British were there? There was 100,000 British governing, controlling 300 million people. How did it happen? Divide and conquer, divide and conquer. So the way out is to start to build a relational field, build our deep connections. And also, one of the things I unlearned, we were taught again by this Western mind is very, I have a lot of friends in the West, but the mindset is so sick. You know, in the desert, I live in a desert, it gets hot. You know, it gets to 50 degrees. So in that kind of weather, what's the most important thing? Water. So we have I've seen, you know, so many people, the most sacred thing you can offer somebody is water. And I've seen women carry 2 kilometers, they carry water on their heads, and they give it to strangers. I'm like, they walk 2 kilometers, they're giving it as a gift freely to strangers, to take care of it. And my mind is like, before it used to be, we can make money off of this. So they look at me and they're like, are you sick? You want to charge money for water? Giving somebody drinking? So they look, my grandmother used to say, all these bottled water companies, like they're really sick people. How can you charge somebody for drinking water? We have to come out of that and say that there are so many sacred gifts. That's why I keep talking about the gift culture. The gift culture, it is the way that we can start to connect. And I have a book on it. It's online also. You can see that book, download it as a gift. But so many examples, and the book is there just to try to help us remember. Gift culture is not only in India, it's every community. It's how we survive, how we create, how we thrive, how we co-create. So what we have to unlearn is this idea that the Western mind calls creativity as an individual activity. The individual artist, Pablo Picasso, or Salvador Dali, or whatever this famous artist. Creativity comes out of relationships. So the more we build relationships, the more creativity we'll create. We like to say we're not here to compete. We haven't come to this planet to compete against each other. We've come to this planet to complete each other. So that just shifts the way that how are we here to interact? We're here and even our conflicts, our fights, are ways to complete each other, are ways to help us see our shadows, ways to help us evolve our consciousness. One of the conditions for wisdom is to have at least 3 generations together. So what did the school do? The most stupid thing is the grandmothers are useless, the parents are no, the uncles are no, the small children are no. No, you're just your own age group. But if we want to generate wisdom and compassion, we have to have multiple generations. And we have to redesign our spaces for these different generations. Kids, we have when we do things, kids are running around. It doesn't matter. It's beautiful. It adds to the energy. And people say, the kids, I had one visitor once, she said, the kids are disturbing. I'm like, no, you're disturbing. About decolonization, so a lot of it, the problem is it's still trying to use the same structure, same tools, same system. And I'm saying really the next level is that we start to generate our own things. Because the problem is this, that we are in a crisis, global crisis. The tools, the systems, the structures, the methodologies that we've been trained to use, they're not only failing, they're making things worse. Look at this. Now we have this crisis, so what are people saying? Artificial intelligence is going to solve it. This is crazy. So you keep going around, more technology, more technology, more technology. But we need to step back, slow down, reflect, and we have to start to see what are the things that our communities, our people have understood about what is a good life. Let us start that discussion again. Because it's the definition. Unless we can take control of our own definitions, we'll always be slave to somebody else's ideas. What is this modern, urban, educated mindset? It's sitting in fear, it's sitting in scarcity, and it's sitting in a feeling of separation, aloneness. Right? So everything we say, though it may be very logical, very rational, it's being confronted by this kind of emotional field. That's the field all around us, you know? Why are you going to the favelas? Why are you it's all coming from this fear, right? So what I found is useful is to start to, what we need to kind of heal is that fear. We have to understand the sickness that our societies are stuck in. Because when we start to that, then our approaches will be different. One of my very dear friends, he's Nigerian, he spent a lot of time with shamans. So he loves to remind me, the shamans told him, the times are very urgent. We must slow down. So this machine, this rat race culture wants us to keep speeding faster, faster. This German efficiency, more efficient, more efficient. But I believe in laziness. Laziness is the cure. Slowing down. Meditation is for lazy people. So meditation is a good way to, rather than saying lazy, it sounds very nice, I'm meditating, you know? But really slowing down, centering ourselves. This is the way, the same thing I'm talking about. Fear, this fear and scarcity and sense of disconnection, meditation. And beautiful thing is there are many kinds of meditation. So it's not just sitting quietly. I think Samba is meditation. Washing your dishes is a meditation. Well, there's something called hidden curriculum, right? It's not the curriculum. But if you sit in lines, your thinking starts to become linear. Like we're sitting in lines, your thinking starts to become linear. If you have these fragmented disciplines, science, like biology, mathematics, political science, your thinking starts to become fragmented, right? If you have competitive spirit, your thinking starts to become competitive all the time. So we have to come out of that kind of fragmentation. So meditation can help us be more holistic in our approaches. But the Western brand of meditation, like what happened is fragmented mind takes something that is holistic and essentially, and it fragments it. It takes something that has been, if you tell people in India, we're charging money for meditation, they start laughing at you. Are you crazy? This is not for sale. How can you charge money for meditation or yoga? Right? So this mind has also become starts to see, you pay for your learning, right? You pay for your education. In India, throughout the last 5,000 years, nobody paid for learning. It's not a commodity. But you start to pay for it, so you start to think learning is a commodity. You start to think life is a commodity. And you start to think meditation, yoga, these are commodities. They're not. So we have to embrace them in a non-fragmented, non-commodified way. Then you get the essence of it. Otherwise, you'll just get some very superficial thing and a very isolated thing. So the purpose of yoga is also to connect us all the time, connectedness. And yoga is not then, or meditation is not just 1 hour of meditation class. It's in everything we do. He's doing meditation with this camera. Washing dishes, meditation. Cooking is your meditation. This is what we have to reclaim, that meditation is in everything we're doing, we have to bring this power of meditation. Slow down, be present, center yourself, connect yourself. I was so touched to meet the grandmothers in Brazil. You have so many amazing grandmothers who know about gift culture, who know about compassion and love and sharing and nurturing, who know about Gambiaha, who know about, who can shake you to the core. I don't see how we can cure this sickness without the power of touch, without being able to connect to each other. So Brazil, I feel that touch, that connection is so alive still. Everywhere I look in Brazil, I see creativity. So I decided this year, I'm turning 50. So I said, I can't keep traveling all over the world. It's too tiring for me. And so much, every time I leave India, all my friends in India start, saying, no, you have to be here. How are you going? So I said, I'm only going to now pick a couple of places on the planet where I feel very inspired. And I want to serve in India is one of them, and Brazil is one of them that I really would like to share whatever, because I see there's a power, very strong power here. And I think India and Brazil together, we can really shake the planet. The invitation for you is to become part of this growing movement to reimagine education. The systems we have cannot be fixed. They are designed to steal from people. They're designed to destroy the planet. The logic is a sickness. And the only way I see out is if we start to create our own models. We have to create a new game. The existing game is going to destroy everything. So the time is now. I invite you to become part of this movement. And thank you so much. Namaste. Namaste all.